I completely forgot to make an overlay for Minecraft reviews. So I haven't actually done the regular promotions and stuff like that. Just checking, I promised I was going to check some lines and such. Sorry, I had to pause for a second. I had to listen to that in my head. And yep. Just, you know, sometimes you got to pause and just appreciate how good life is. Finally got all of the voice lines in. Might have a new Mrs. Dysart as well. So, yeah, just in general. Anyways, let's actually do my usual promotion of this video. Again, I'm sorry I don't have an overlay. I normally would do this behind the scenes after I start. But it's just because I very clearly underestimated myself here, or overestimated, I should say. Just gonna have to go like this. Okay, I think that did it. Mystic Hills, everyone. I should probably have a different background for this. This doesn't really scream Mystic Hills to me or anything like that. There we go. Mystic Hills. It's a show. It's a show that I came across sometime in mid 2018, I think. I believe that all of the first season had been finished by then, but basically, just one of my YouTube recommendations, and it seemed like a Minecraft roleplay that, on a surface level, it seemed like a Minecraft roleplay like any other. You know, introduce the main characters, have the setting, you know, hijinks ensue. But yeah, I gave it a shot. I carried on, and there is something very clear within the very first episode that kind of hooked me into the whole process, which eventually, after subscribing to the main channel that's on, Lady Mania, actually led to me being recommended a video, a new video at the time, asking for voice actor applications. And this was 2018, so this is, you know, before Mutant Go, any of that stuff. I'd only ever done one piece of voice acting before, which was 5 years earlier for a radio podcast. So first time doing anything voice acting related on YouTube. And sure enough, I was invested in the show, and I applied, and I've been in Maniac Studios ever since, just either actually present for a while or just lurking. But what about the show itself? I remembered that how things kind of went down towards the end. This tale of evolution is not a long-running show that I want to show off the evolution of the person. A person that I am familiar with, and a little bit, of course, as much as I can say or imply about how Mystic Hills ended up going on an unfortunate decline, not necessarily in story quality, but just behind the scenes, and why it eventually ended up being remade. But none of that right now. It's because I checked out the remake itself, because I hadn't actually seen the remake. That was after I stopped watching. And I thought, well, okay, let's see how this fares up. And it's interesting. Normally, remakes of old role plays done by the same person, they kind of knock them out of the park. It's like it's like remakes in cinema from the olden days when the same director would come back with improved technology and do the same and remake the epic that they made in like 1920 something and 1950 something with color technology and a bunch more actors and higher budget and stuff. And then eventually what we get now with remakes is it's entirely different. When I say remakes, I mean that kind of remakes, the kind that I'm of course still working on with the Mutant Girl to this very day, under the same basic principles. So yeah, for once you'll be unfamiliar with the subject material, Josh. That will make a change from the usual, at least for you anyway. But yeah, it's been a long time since I've checked out Mystic Hills itself. It's been a while since I've actually seen much of anything from Maniac Studios, for not really because I have anything against the people there or anything like that. I guess just life happens. Gotcha happened, quite honestly. But now we're back. It's been almost 5 years, not quite. I was going to call this episode Mystic Hills, not quite 5 years later, but I said, oh, I want to talk about the original and the remake in the same video. That's eventually what this became. So that is exactly what I'm going to do. So I guess here we go. This is the original and now unlisted first episode of Mystic Hills. Without further ado, on with the review.
So it's a nice looking neighborhood, I guess. Looks nothing like the city, that's for sure. Hey, honey.
Interesting. We start off like in the middle of a sentence. We get the implication that she's been asked, "Oh, so what do you think of the new Mystic Hills place?" I bring this up, and I'm gonna explain why I referenced that later.
Hi, Mom. What's going on?
Was the mum just not standing there the whole time? Again, it feels like we're in the middle of a sentence, but then we ended up appearing here. It's like, oh, hi. I guess I'm going to address you now that we're on camera.
How are you? Of course you'd have to ask that. I'm okay. I'm glad. Yeah. So, I know you don't like the fact that we moved, but maybe it's for the best. Way to be positive there, Mom. Yeah, I guess so. Go on in. Remember, school starts tomorrow.
Now, this is all, of course, going to be very familiar to people like myself, who, of course, are going to compare it to another franchise that did more or less the same thing. Which? The Disney series from 2001, which I have referenced extensively. I don't know if this was the moment when I thought, oh, I'm going to give this a shot because the main character in here seemed to be moving to, of course, the classic 90s setup. New kid moves to a different city, um, and of course that was my first example. That's why I mention it. And the mum is trying to reassure her the day before she goes to school. However, that's not everything that's going on. It's everything that's going on in this scene. And Mania herself, the creator Mania, not the main character, who's also called Mania, has mentioned that the opening of this, just her moving into a house, is quite boring, and she actually recommends anyone starting Minecraft role plays to actually think of a much more catching visual. So this is very much a thing that she would have actually learnt from for future projects, which is interesting because then sometime around that time was when we all filmed Yandere High School, or whatever it was ended up being called, which involved not only her seeming to move, but also me. Or maybe that was just my character, I forgot. Like the skin design for the mum. That's another thing, yeah, the HD skins, or well, at least the HD eyes at this point, have been a recurring thing, and a thing that Mania has constantly gone at lengths to improve over the years as well. As far as the eyes go, there's one particular detail about the eyes that I personally would love to mention, but I am going to leave that for now because it doesn't make sense unless you see it from close up.
Yeah. Thanks, Mom. sending me off to school as soon as possible.
I mean, you can't really help when the term starts or anything.
That's great. So it looks like we got a garage and 3 floors, it looks like. Oh, look, an apple tree. I'll take one of that. I'll take that right now. Thank you.
Ah, yes, back when Minecraft roleplays would give you the tour of the setting, as if this was the most interesting part of the series itself.
So, it looks nice, I guess. Ceiling's kind of low though, but
I like to call this kind of thing, you know, the first person improv syndrome, where it's just basically, okay, what do? I interact with a bunch of objects. This will extend the runtime.
oh, hi, Dad. Dad. Oh, hey, honey, how are you?
Oh, hi, Roadman. Didn't see you there.
Sorry. It's okay. So,
Okay, notice that. That's the first inkling that there's something that is amiss here. Was the fact that she doesn't even have to say why she wouldn't be at ease. That there's both the mum and dad already know the reason, but we the audience don't yet. But this is the case of that being a mystery, because clearly there is an answer.
go find your room, unpack, and I'll order pizza for dinner. How's that sound? That sounds, nice. Thanks, Dad. Good.
Oh wait, pizza count. Gotta bring that back. Pizza count. I don't have pizza here, so I can't do the old joke, which none of the people watching here are around to see anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
For a 2018 Minecraft roleplay, it's actually pretty decent so far. Not bad. I mean, yeah, that's definitely what I thought when I first saw it.
So awkward. Alright.
So awkward. I hate when I get stuck in the door like this. Wow, life is so hard.
So we got a pool. That's nice, except for the fact that it's what, fall now? Tomorrow's the first day of school. I can't relax by myself.
I mean, you can, just once you stop giving yourself the tour, then you can go and relax.
So we got like a cute little dining area, I guess. That's cute. And this kitchen, Mom must love this kitchen already. Maybe that's why she chose this house. Yes, I see you watching me, Mother.
I forgot about that part. That's the part that's felt like the most genuine to me so far.
I see you watching me.
You know, I heard someone say once that I've been watching a lot of the Mr. Plinkett Star Wars reviews by Red Letter Media. If you don't know what those are, if you end up looking that up, just be aware they're not exactly the most PC thing in the world. But that's deliberate. It's a character. But the things that he says in there about the movies in question, the actual review part, is generally good advice. And one of the things that was said there was they're referencing George Lucas and the fact that he seems nowadays to treat actors as if they don't really have as much agency as they should. Actors can actually bring a whole new dimension to a character all the time. I'm going to extend the same thing to here and say that NPCs can sometimes provide comedic gold, because I guarantee that was not in the script or any of the thoughts at the time. I'd say script because it's obviously improvised. But yeah.
The garage, I saw.
Also, hello, Starburst.
Upstairs we have 2 rooms.
One of which is very precariously placed. Who built this house?
Okay, so
I mean, in universe, who built this house? Not like I'm not dissing the set construction.
this one must be Mom and Dad's then, because there's nothing in here, and Mom and Dad always had the room barren and empty.
Then why do they have so much space? Okay, never mind.
So we can go upstairs, or we can go in here, and this is the bathroom.
With just a regular, full-sized bin next to the toilet.
Is that a hole in the wall or just a window?
I don't know, but either way, I would not like my shower window to be completely transparent, thank you very much.
That's a window. Why is there a window right here? That's a little unsettling. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Okay, next. And Nick. So that must be my room. And this.
Again, listen to how she said the word Nick. I wonder if someone could like put together like what's happened based on the fact that she's not okay and the fact that she said Nick longingly in an empty room.
This must be Nick's room.
Oh, never mind. We just get to see the answer anyway.
Nick. How do you like the new house so far? Isn't it great? Yeah? Oh, who am I kidding? Ugh. I'm sorry, Nick. It's all my fault. Maybe if I had put the books away like Mom said, this wouldn't have happened. Alright, stop being such a downer. And... oh, wait, Mom wants us open.
Yeah, I think it was that scene right there that said to me, I'm here for the long run. Sorry, I don't know why every time I start streaming is when I end up needing to cough.
Okay, don't be such a downer, and cheer up. It's not like things can get worse, right? Okay, so it looks like we got some shelves and bookcases, some bedside tables. Oh, I wonder why the chair's on the floor already. Everywhere else in the house, the chair was on the table. Interesting. And balconies.
Ooh,
I think
spooky.
Nick has a balcony too. He does. Oh, Nick.
Yeah, that's it's not quite the reason she was talking to him. I'll leave it at that for now. Oh, and there goes Cozy.
It looks like a nice neighborhood. No one's out yet. Maybe they're like inside relaxing before the last day of school. That's what we did in the city.
The issue with Minecraft Improv, you end up repeating lines a few times. It looks like the nice neighborhood was the opening of this episode too.
Alright, so I guess I can listen to my music and start unpacking.
Yeah, the issue when you're on creative mode, of course, is the fact that when you right-click something, it doesn't equip. Now, if she decided to record on survival, she should be able to eat the apple and equip the headphones in a much more in a much much more logical way. Which is actually why whenever I recorded with her, I was always one of the few people who was actually on survival and tried to apply, in-universe physics, which end up with my character actually breaking his leg in one scene, almost being left behind because I couldn't sprint. I could, but in character.
Let's see. Nope. 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 Aha! That one will work. Alright, let's get started then.
Let's see what we've got here in terms of tracks. Nothing, 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 and nothing. Suspension of disbelief. Oh yeah, this is where the intro kicks in, literally on the halfway mark of the video. But it gives you, again, visuals of what must have happened. Should have put those books away, am I right?
Stars and the planet to follow. Expect to have the
Okay, I'm just gonna leave that visual on screen for right now. Zoinks. Anyway, so about that intro, yeah, you can. This Mania actually did something that was really clever here. Not only actually visualizing the stuff that's character Mania has hinted at so far in this episode, but also because there are no pre-recorded visuals or anything. So imagine the way that Aiden or possibly myself, imagine how we do our intros and like have footage from other episodes that I end up not updating, but he actually does. But this actually, I think, was a really good workaround. You have a bunch of establishing shots of the setting at Mystic Hills, which is why the series is called Mystic Hills. So you would show off the Mystic Hills, absolutely, and that's after you have some flashbacks of the actual traumatic event timed to the music. So, yeah, pretty ingenious workaround, I must say. Mystic Hills. I started watching the first episode of, but never finished it. Ah, yeah. Well, actually, if I end up doing the whole show, reviewing the whole show, actually, you're gonna eventually end up regretting not watching not watching the rest of the series, particularly when we get to the likes of season 2. But that shall be discussed in due time. Again, if we get there, who knows? Can we just talk about how they standing atop of a window ceiling and got stuck to the wall? What? What? Who? What? I don't understand. Oh, in the intro, you saw a person stuck in the wall. Okay, I'm not going to rewind to check that, but I'll take your word for it. Ah, yes, Scooby Doo. I sure hope nothing ruins that for people in the near future. Ha 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 ha. Oh, how delightful.
Dinner. Okay. That was great. I never even liked Supernatural, but this was great.
Ah, that line's also foreshadowing.
Okay. Oh, yay, pizza. You ready for school tomorrow? Uh,
She's surprised that it's pizza, but yet the dad in the previous scene said, "I'll order pizza for dinner." She should have known about this. All right. Oh my goodness, the wall. We get it.
no. Why not? Easy question, because she spent most of her summer either sitting by Nick or packing her room for this big move. Uh-huh. I know you're sad about Steph and Scott, honey. Sad
I mean, I actually forgot who they are. I'm not gonna. I can't make a comment on that because I forgot this.
is an understatement. If we could, I would have brought them with.
Oh, I guess those are like her friends from home. I feel like she'd be more sad about the whole Nick situation rather than the Stephen Scott thing, but sure.
um, Mom? Can we talk about Nick? Honey, it's not your fault. Yes, it is. No, it's not.
Remember, I should have put the books away.
Mom, if it wasn't for me leaving my books by the stupid fireplace, this never would have happened.
To be fair, I would probably do the same thing. I have books littered around like everywhere.
It would have happened someday. The house was old and falling apart. Everything was wood. But, honey, please, let us enjoy a nice dinner in our new home. But Nick! When he wakes up, he'll join us. He's not going to wake up. Mania.
I mean, this is a good point. So this is why I didn't comment on the part where we said, you know, the NPC sleeping. Because yes, it's been established here Nick is in a coma and Mania blames herself for the event. In fact, the video description, which I deliberately didn't read this time, actually says Mania's soul is a sad child. She caused a house fire that put her twin brother into a coma. Needing change, her mum and dad moved the family to Mystic Hills. To Mystic Hills. That's been in there for years. A small town far from their city of Asherville. May discovers Ice and secrets in Mystic Hills. Things no normal humans should know. Let's hope she's not going to be in too much trouble. Good lord. Okay. I can guarantee that Mania is better at spelling nowadays. But yeah, that was something. Okay. So back to this. Yeah, Nick. Now, considering that Nick is in a coma, I'm surprised that he's not in a hospital. Normally, when people are put in comas, they don't tend to reside in the house with others, especially not after completing a move as well. You would think. I said they only just got to this house, right? Yeah, they only got to this house right now after the other one burnt down. In fact, that she was planning for this particular move as a result of the fire. But now that I think about it, if that was that took the whole summer, does that mean that she was busy packing in the ruins of a burnt down house for an entire summer, which he presumably also spent time there? And was Nick in a hospital before this point and was just discharged now to be cared for at home with no doctors present, but just under the care of the non-medically qualified parents? Yeah, now that I think about it, maybe this process was a little sillier than I anticipated, and all that not anticipated than I remembered. That's what I meant to say. Maybe it doesn't hold up quite as well.
He's not. He's just not. He's not
He is not going to wake up. He is not. Oh, hi, Mark.
going to wake up. He's just not. He's not going to wake up. And it's all my fault. He's not going to wake up. He's not. He's not. He's not. He's not going to wake up.
That has to be deliberate. Having her wake up herself the next day.
And so it begins. Great. Scott, Steph.
There's a few more details in the room now, and you actually get to see Mania's actual skin before that, which we haven't really properly seen because she was facing away from the camera. Then that on the bed. So in case you wanted to actually wonder about like the other skins for this series, other than the mum and dad, here's one of them. I don't recall Scott and Steph returning. I could be wrong.
Wish me luck. I'm going to need it.
Keep out, gamer at play, battling enemies, defeating end bosses. That feels like the same thing twice, but okay. Smashing cars, mastering moves, blowing stuff up. Do not disturb, leave food and drinks at the door, enter at own risk. Not gonna lie, nice sign.
I don't need the bathroom. Are they awake? They must be awake. Damn it, I didn't want to face them today. After what happened last night.
I mean, you're about to like leave for school, so shouldn't be too bad. But I get that.
God, I'm so stupid. Mom? Dad? Oh, they're not even here. Oh, Hey, honey, your dad went to work early this morning for a head start. I went shopping really quickly. Keep an eye on your brother until I get back. If I'm not back by the time you need to get on the bus, wait and I'll give you a ride. There should be some bread in one of the cupboards and some water in the fridge. Love, Mom.
That's so irresponsible. Oh yeah, sure. Not only did they take him out of a hospital, but they've also left their teenage daughter in charge on the day that she needs to go to school. I mean, come on. Again, this is why Nick should have been at a hospital. I mean, like imagine this. It would have probably worked the same way if we just that like remember that scene that I commented on before where she was touring around the room and she like turns towards that room that I thought was empty for a second and goes, Nick. Yeah, especially like after the little bits of foreshadowing before, that was enough, honestly. And then, of course, we have the intro filling us in on the fact we saw Nick being carried off into like into an ambulance. So again, he was at a hospital before. If he's still unconscious, he should still be there. How are they supposed to actually feed him without him being like hooked up to, an IV or anything like that? I don't even know the exact terminology, but if I don't know, I don't think these people are going to figure it out. And of course, if there's a situation arises where they happen to have moved in, but they need to both pop out at the same time, it leaves their daughter being late for school on the first day, which seemed to be a priority up until this very moment. I don't know.
There's nothing in the fridge. Damn it, Mom. Why'd you lie to me? Okay. Oh, that was quick. Okay.
Yes, cupboards do open very quickly. What? This is the problem when you're like monologuing to yourself. I'm so glad that I left these days behind me. Back when I recorded solo, I didn't even have knowledge of NPCs at the time. My stuff was way worse than this.
And I want toast, so I'm gonna have to slice up this bread. There we go. And oh,
The interaction of the objects is winning me over, but also don't put the sliced bread next to the the kitchenware.
wrong cupboard. Mom will get mad at me if I do that. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Home alone in the new house. Oh, turn on. Thank you. Oh, toast. Thank you. Toast. And
Just gonna have some plain toast? You're brave. Well, at least put some butter on it. Not biased at all, obviously.
wait. I really shouldn't have blown up on them last night, but I just don't think he's going to wake up.
Yeah, considering that he's not getting medical attention, I agree with you.
It's been a whole summer. I mean, I guess the summer's not that long, but oh.
I just noticed. Yeah, now she's on survival. So I guess the toast could theoretically be eaten.
I really hope Mom gets here before the bus does, otherwise I'm definitely going to be late.
Will Mania be late for school? Will her parents assume responsibility? Will Nick be taken to a hospital? Find out next time on Mystic Hills. Oh yeah. Sorry, I let into that one too much. Alright. Yeah. Okay. So that was that, and yeah, why is it always toast for breakfast? Because this is an anime. An anime character must always have toast in mouth and be late for school. It is required. Okay. So, yeah. Obviously, a few things in this, as it's almost 5 years old, a few elements are a little dated. I could have done with a few more music tracks in between, like some atmospheric ones to go over the background, just so that's going on. The performance obviously could use a little bit of work, particularly in terms of the blow up, and I guess also poor Nick. I mean, the first time I watched this, I really was I really felt for Mania right away. That premise alone of having to carry that burden with her into a new school, that's far more tragic than like any other Minecraft roleplay that I end up seeing around this time. At least to begin with, like it hits you with it right away, which is what hooked me in personally. Did Nick himself have to be there for that to occur? I don't think so. Rated 8.5 out of 10. Fair enough. I don't tend to do ratings really. Don't know what to say. Just either way. Yes. Toast. Now, of course, that's all just the things that I thought could be improved. But the real question is, what did the creator herself, 3 years down the line, think could improve? Well, I know you were all on the edge of your seats wondering that, or wherever you are currently, so let's find out. This is Mystic Hills Episode 1, The Remake.
Stop being so sour, Doodlebug. This is good for all of us.
She's right, Pumpkin. We all needed to get out of the country. Maybe it's a good thing you burned down our house.
Richard!
Yeah, well...
Okay, so instead of the slow time in between finding out what's happened and the slight mystery around what it was from Mania's own perspective, making us feel for her immediately, we have a granted not a too bad exposition line. It does feel somewhat natural, but compared to the original version, it definitely feels unnecessary. That's my first downgrade for the remake. The first upgrade for the remake, however, is even though the premise of moving into a house has to stay exactly the same, at the very least we get different shots, we get the music that I mentioned before, and of course this is around the time when Mania, of course, moved into getting other voice actors. So all of that is great.
But what I mean is...
What your father means, Doodle, is that house wasn't for us. It was too small and cramped. It's good that we moved out.
Yeah, whatever.
Character did not look both ways before crossing the street. Hashtag boycott. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that.
Here we are. Welcome to Mystic Hills, ladies.
Oh, it's cute, isn't it, Mania?
Oh yeah, real cute.
This is why I brought up the opening line of the original, because it seems like that line in the original was a response to this line here, but we just kind of missed that conversation. Honestly, we could have opened up at the exact same point, you know? Or maybe a few times before, like, welcome to Mystic Hills, ladies. Oh, it's cute. What do you think? Well. How are you doing, honey? Well, And that's it. Best of both worlds. She's already got the headphones equipped. She came prepared this time. No creative mode here.
We managed to land a nice little community outside of the city.
Nick came in with the movers earlier. I'm gonna go check on him.
Alright, Manny and I will unload the car.
Yay.
Yes, if that didn't give it away right there, Nick's situation in the remake is a little different. There is also a dog now. I mentioned this because I completely forgot that detail.
Mania, you really shouldn't blame yourself. It could have happened to anyone.
But it happened to me. To us.
Mania, sweetheart.
Yeah, this blow-up definitely still seems subdued, but it feels way, more intense, even though it is restrained. Like, there's been an ongoing thing that's been on her mind.
It's okay. No one was seriously injured.
No one? What about Nick? He got serious burns.
Yeah, which, comparing it to the original, where the drama ride on him being in a coma, which is far more intense. Wow. I mean, it's still sad, don't get me wrong, but just in comparison, you start to see what I mean, right, lords and ladies? That this has both improvements but also downgrades at the same time. That's why I decided to put these reviews together in the same video.
Mania.
I'm going out.
Also, it's got better shot composition. You've got things going on in the background, and sometimes the foreground with that person who didn't look both ways. Stop trying to steal characters.
Hi!
Uh-huh. Oh,
Good
hi.
grief.
I'm Lyric. What's your name?
I'm Mania.
It's nice to meet you, Mania.
I do love the fact that she's completely disregarding the don't talk to strangers thing. It just comes up to somebody who is clearly listening to music, minding her own business, and just like, "Hi, I'm Lyric. Nice to meet you. Let's be friends. I'm not leaving until you are friends with me. Friendship." Also, I think this is I think Lyric was introduced originally in episode 2 of Mystic Hills. But here it's just, we're condensing things a bit, no house tour, so that's all dealt with. Who are you? Why, I'm Lyric, of course. Didn't I make that obvious enough? I am Lyric, and I am your new best friend. I was just on a walk. Friend. That should have been your robo law, just saying. One of you's like walking away from that subway you both woke up in. The other one comes up and goes, "Hi, want to be my friend?"
So, I'm guessing you're new, huh?
That obvious?
It's a close community.
Yeah,
Yes, I know every single person here, and they all know me, Lyric, your new friend.
it's much different from Asherville, that's for sure.
Asherville? That's a city a few hours away, right?
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Mystic Hills.
Now, you might be noticing something here that in other Minecraft roleplays, this thing isn't present, this issue. You might sense that something is off. I'm not going to say what it is yet, because when I was watching this a few hours ago before deciding on this stream, I thought to myself, what is it here that is lacking, or is unsettling to me in some sort of way based on what I'm used to with Minecraft roleplays. So yeah, I don't know. Also, you don't have to change your robo lore now, because you've already done like 3 episodes each. So that was that was just a what if scenario from another world, and not going to be like, yeah, don't do that. Anyway.
Thanks. May I be excused? But you've barely eaten. Mom, please. Fine.
Okay, this is a clever substitution. Well, also we get to also I love this shot. We get to see like the whole house, and it still is relatively barren. I feel like that alone can serve as the visual that they've just moved in, rather than have to go through the whole house and see how empty everything is, and have Mania specifically states that her parents always keep the room nice and barren. Also, yes, this is a good solution. Speaking of which, Starburst, you had a Robo Shelton like in the title, but not in the actual video that you posted today. What was up with that? And yes, pretty props, but they're not everywhere, because yeah, they have only had a certain amount of time. Which, now that I think about it, in the original, did Mania just like put up a bunch of decorations inside her own room while also having a mental breakdown? I can't tell if I should give kudos or be concerned. But anyway, in this version, what the real thing that I wanted to point out why I paused here was because I guess because this is the scene that's replacing the one of the scenes replacing the dinner blow up that happened. So rather than try to rehash that and try to risk having another underacted performance, I guess Mania just decided, okay, I'm internalizing all of this, and that's why I'm going to be solemn now, rather than I think that's it. So again, improvements here, downgrades elsewhere. it also seems like every scene has to have like another establishing shot transition that's like immediately afterwards. Like I know that a lot of them do, but we feel like it's probably a few too many here. I guess that's it. Are there decorations up?
Doodle, wake up!
A few.
You get down here right now.
Coming!
I can't tell if that was like edited to be filtered or if the voice actor just went, you know. Notice any contradictions or retcons? Well, Nick is awake and conscious, so that's a retcon. And of course, Lyric being introduced in the first place, that's also a retcon. But those two things particularly. That might be down to the fact that these characters... Actually, Mania's been using the same kind of characters for years, like recycling a few of them into new settings and new worlds. Which I think was done up until Yandere. Which is great because I specifically wanted to do a character that was not like me in any way whatsoever, apart from knowing Spanish. So, no, but here I think it might be because these iterations of these characters and their place within the Mystic Hills universe was far more established. I think that's why a few people, when they go back and redo and remake their old content, with knowledge of where the story is going to go in the future, they can add more hints. They can make changes that that didn't make sense beforehand, or just erase plot points that they didn't want to have in the first place, and make it seem like it was a bit more planned out from the beginning. Yeah, which Aiden asked me to do the exact same thing when he first suggested that I remake some of the I remake the first Mutant Girl episodes. Around the time that we were preparing for episode 1's remake, he tried to pull me aside at one point and asked me if I could actually add like a few extra scenes, you know, with like one scene he wanted was between Bowen and Geneva, which didn't really add anything for me at least, and also a reference to Agatha existing, which I could have done, and it would have been fine, but I didn't want to. I didn't want the remakes to end up replacing the original in terms of its story. By all means, yeah, watch the remakes. They're way better than the originals, but at the same time, nothing is going to be like, oh, if you start watching the remakes now and then have to continue the series with the originals because the other ones aren't out yet, you can still do so, which is why I kept the scripts exactly the same. That also was also an issue with Bad Girl's Little Boy. Not to rub salt in that wound, but Bad Girl's Little Boy had the same thing with its remake, and the fact that just Sammy and Lucy ended up being a little nicer than they were originally. Not much of a a goal there, because in the previous version, they were, on Dolores Umbridge levels of human garbage, but they were a little better in the remake. But because of that, some of their actions didn't line up, and a few things end up being dropped. Now, in that particular story, I am all for the changes that happen. In this one, it really depends. Does Lyric being introduced here add much at all in comparison to being introduced in episode 2? Maybe not. Does Nick being added here change anything? Yes. And it makes me wonder if I'd end up watching this remake rather than the original, would I have been as invested? Would it have drawn me in the same way? And would I have felt the same for this character that I've not properly got the chance to know yet? I'm not so sure.
Ooh, she calls you by your middle name. Ooh.
Shut up.
So, Nick, how are you feeling?
I'm a bit sore, but other than that, I'm fine.
I'm glad
That line feels so much less powerful than when he said it to May and she just didn't reply. Come on.
to hear it, sweetheart.
So, Pumpkin, are you gonna be ready for school today?
I don't know.
Okay, this is the scene where it hit me. You know how I said before that something in this remake was missing? That I couldn't quite put my finger on, but I knew that something was off? I finally figured out what it is. It's the shots. It's the camera being still for almost an entire scene. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes that can actually really work. There are a lot of movies that use that kind of thing for to create a different kind of atmosphere for a scene in particular. And actually, it works for uncomfortable scenes, especially. But actually, there's a director called Stanley Kubrick who actually is known for using this kind of technique. So it's clearly an established thing. The reason I don't think it works here is because it doesn't feel like that was planned. It feels like these characters were the scene was filmed and there's like, okay, we're just going to have them eat. We don't know exactly what timing they're going to have because it's only one like continuous long shot like this. So we can't have them, bob their heads or anything. So we don't. So because and we know who's talking, of course, but yeah. Other than that, it doesn't draw us in too much. One character is completely obscured right now by Mania's head. Mania herself, the main character, who's supposed to be the one who is feeling this uncomfortable atmosphere along with us, the audience, we straight up can't see her face. And that's honestly it. Those are really the two main things. But the thing is, that's why a lot of Minecraft roleplays will cut between different shots. They'll have close-ups with people. They'll have different cameras and such. If this shot was going to work and it was intended to be like a Stanley Kubrick kind of, cut, like one long, one extended shot, have it at least be focused on the main character, or have the camera placed where the mum is sitting, because the dad is asking questions to Nick, and Mania is of course would of course be in frame at that point. So that would probably solve most of the issues here. Also change the music. We've had this exact same upbeat music throughout the entire time, and it doesn't work if you're trying to create the sense that Mania is like not. I see every scene Mania doesn't want to be here, so I guess that's kind of why it stays the same. But it feels too upbeat to be like, well, I guess I don't want to be here, but the environment is very happy. Actually, no, I take that back. In every other scene, it works because it's setting up. This Mystic Hills seems to have this happy tone that's drawing us in, but Mania is resisting that as a character. But in here, inside, in the confines of her own home, that this should not have settled in. It's not like it's part of the town yet, so the music should probably reflect that, I think. So, yeah. And yes, this is Mystic Hills. That's the series. Oh, you're going into a different story. Okay, never mind.
What's got you so sour?
I'm going to eat at school.
Yeah, the other issue, of course, is the fact that, like I said before, none of their heads actually bob. So in case you're not used to the voice actors yet, too bad.
I don't hate you.
We didn't even see him like put his arms like around. I mean, or like hold her for a few seconds. Maybe like get into place. I know that the model would have to change, but like change the model on camera but keep the person recording. There's different ways around this. This series definitely it cuts when it doesn't need to, and it doesn't when it does need to.
Stole my little sister no matter what.
Little sister, aren't you twins? Is this the kind of things like, oh, you're the little sister because you were born a minute later or something like that?
And I'll always be here for you.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Nick.
This is the other scene that replaces the breakdown from before. By the way, nice detail with the clock in the background showing a different time than 6 a.m. Yeah, this again, she's been very suppressive of it, but since we haven't seen her in so many private settings this time, unlike the original where we just follow her around the entire time, this part works better because it is a moment of breakdown. Again, best of both worlds, the situation would be Nick wouldn't be here at all. It would be the mother or the father comforting her about this, and the same thing would be achieved. But either way, and yes, the burns do indeed loom. That's what happens. Oh, sorry. Yeah, like how the scars look. Okay, yeah. He has it does they don't look recent, which is good because I'm pretty sure the idea was that they've been packing all summer, hopefully staying at a different location this time. I don't think it's established in this version that they've been doing that all summer, or that Mania's been spending most of her summer packing for this anymore. So who knows? Could have happened recently.
Your boss is attempting to reach you on your cellular device. Your
Yeah,
boss is attempting to reach
phone!
you on your
Yep,
cellular
yep.
device. Your boss is attempting to reach you on your cellular
I love that
device.
ringtone.
Hello, sir. No, sir. I'll be heading there as soon as I make sure my daughter gets to the bus stop.
Good. The parents are actually responsible in this version. Thank you. Although then again, if Mania and Nick are around the same age, why is Nick not going to the same school? Do they not both have to go and catch the same bus? And if so, why would one catch the bus, the other one not? I don't know.
Yes, she's 16, sir.
What does that got to? What a weird thing to ask. It's like, Mr. Soul, I need you down here immediately. Oh, I see. You're taking your daughter to catch the bus. Right. Well, how old is she? You heard me, Sergeant. How old is your daughter? Like, what? What an unnatural way to convey that.
I have no idea where I am or where I need to go.
I guess this is after the bus.
Whoa. Look at all the scars.
She like looked at the scars for a split second. This is what I mean when like nothing was timed accordingly. That's the issue when you don't like get close-ups of anything. Like imagine like a zoom in onto his arms or something, which is where I assume the scars are in this version. This character, by the way, is called Leon, and in the original he has a bunch of scars on his chest. Again, debuts in episode 2, much like Lyric. But in this version, I guess, since his shirt's covered, he's got his arms and everything. So, but that's me speculating because I can't properly see because the camera does not focus on that. So, yeah. Right. And of course, she clocks the scars in a split second, and then immediately he ends up looking. Okay.
What are you staring at?
I'm looking at a moron.
Okay. So this is where I'm trying to not to draw too much on my knowledge of like the behind the scenes of Mystic Hills or like the actual show itself, but this is where I kind of need to do that because Leon, as some of you might have guessed, being the first male introduced that is not related to the main character, is the love interest. And it's actually kind of an interesting story because yeah, his presence ended up being heightened a lot more as time went on, particularly as Mania and the voice actor that she ended up casting as, well, the second voice actor she ended up casting as her own love interest, grew closer, let's say. Which may mean that she was, but of course, that led into videos, on and off character and the knowledge of the connection between Mania and Chris and Mania and Leon, the characters. So everyone, by the time the remake came out, was already aware of this. This is the problem with rewriting your script, because when you end up introducing a character that everyone who already watches you knows is your love interest, you end up alienating the ones who don't know and who are new and just like basing that on the anime trope. But if your performance can't sell that, they'll just be like, I'm looking at a moron. Off I go. Like that, and that's it. Like if you can't sell that in the moment as like an actual like flustering moment because you haven't taken the time to set that up, you haven't shown the scar, you haven't shown like any hints towards Mania's actual like physical attraction to Leon, then the scene falls completely flat, which is what happened here.
Mania! Hey!
Oh, hey, Lyric. So this school's a lot smaller than I expected it to be.
Yeah! Actually, this school was built to hold all the extra students the main school couldn't hold.
Oh,
A bit exposition-y, but I do like that detail. Because that does mean that everyone here could technically refer to themselves as outcasts. You know, way to hit that demographic.
wow, I didn't realize.
You're trying to read the posters in the background. Let's see if I can help with that. So there's Mystic Hills High in the corner, obviously. Another one is just too blurry. The one like to the left of the stairs, it says, when something seems squiggles, dare to do it anyway. I think that says difficult. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the more you know, right?
Right.
So, why are you joining in the middle of the year?
Our house caught fire, so we...
See, this is another issue again with I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, but because the audio was clearly recorded like either like way after or way before this was put together, we have scenes where they're just like traveling around and it almost looks like real time, but it's not quite real time in terms of like where they are, where they would like stop. And when we finally get to see like an actual I guess it's not even a close-up, it's not even a close-up, it's still a wide shots, whatever. But even when we get to this point, it feels like they've interrupted their own conversation and they've just carried it on here.
had to move.
Oh, that sucks! Well, again, welcome to Mystic Hills.
Thanks.
All the characters are just like robots next to their lockers. Oh dear.
Here, sit next to me.
Thanks.
This is where Lyric goes from, you know, creepy stalker to actually good friend. So I'm pleased for that. But surprise, surprise, this is where she was introduced in the original. So of course it lines up.
Good morning, everyone.
Who's this guy? I haven't seen him before.
I'm Mr. Miller. I'll be your teacher for the rest of the year since Miss Curry is away on maternity leave. So, let's see here. Miss Curry left me a plan of what...
Oh yeah, I've been trying to read Mania's shirt for a while now. I actually can't tell. It's something is loading on it. That's one of the details.
we were going to be doing for the rest of the year. It seems for the next few weeks we are going to be studying different soil samples and how flowers grow in them. I'll supply the flowers, but you and your partner will find the soil samples. You must find 3.
Wanna be
I am so glad, once again, to see that there's an actual lesson in a series that is set in a school. I will always make sure to give kudos for that.
partners, Mania?
Sure.
I hear whispers already. Unfortunately for you, I'll be picking your partners.
Well, gee, I wonder where this is going to go. All right then, chat. Who do you think that Mania is going to be partnered with? Is it A, Lyric, B, a random student, or C, it's so obviously Leon, so why even bother?
Alright, first
If you guess Leon, congratulations! You've seen a TV show at one point in your entire life.
pair. Leonidas
And yes, I know that I did more or less the same thing in The Mutant Girl, but I feel like the difference there is the fact that the romance is supposed to come from that selection, not from like, oh, they don't like each other at first, so of course they're going to end up being together and blah blah blah. They're only going to be alone and such. And meh. I would add you to the stream, Aiden, but the thing is, we're like right at the end. It's almost over, so there'd be almost no point coming in. I'm sorry for right now. Next time.
and Mania.
Who the heck is Leonidas?
Blackhead.
Who the heck is Leonidas? How can I, a new person, not know who Leonidas is on my first day of school? How is it that the scripted version makes less sense? I don't get that.
Red eyes, covered in scars.
The teacher can still hear whispers. Yeah, sorry, Aiden. I need food. I haven't had food yet. I want food.
Hey.
Oh, wow. You good? Come on, don't torture the man. He's gone through enough with that phrase.
Listen, just because we're partners doesn't mean I have to apologize for earlier.
Well, you should apologize anyway. You called him a moron for no reason. In fact, I think this is another problem. Wasn't Leon supposed to be like, I guess like the idea was, what are you staring at? Like a kind of like really accusatory. But the way that he said it was kind of like, what are you staring at? Like he was just wondering. It was like, do I have like something on my face or something? And that was it. And if anything, he probably is used to people staring at his scars. What he did makes perfect sense. Mania, for some reason, is just being a jerk right now. And I don't get that. Again, this is the version of Mania that we feel less for because the experience she's gone through is less traumatic. We don't know too much about her as a character yet because the main thing that we know about is that she doesn't want to be here, so she can't really engage, and thus not with us at the moment. And now she's decided, okay, I'm just gonna do like the playground crush thing where I'm going to be mean to the guy that I like for literally no reason, because that's worked 100% of the time, except for 100% of the time.
Huh? Oh, that was you? I actually don't care.
Oh.
Anyways, since...
Yeah, don't be like, oh, like that. You dodged a bullet. Like, that's it. You made peace. That being said, as tired as I am of like every shot in this being a wide shot, I do like the detail. Like, look at the top of the stairs. You see, discount Chloe over here, making her way into view. You know immediately how this scene's gonna go down. But it's nice that she's like actually in position way before that. And you can notice that. Just like you can notice the two that are making out at the bottom of the stairs. That's another thing that happens. Okay, sure, why not? First kiss of the season is not acts between these two. I'm very glad about that. Because right now I do not buy them at all as a couple.
Since we gotta get some soil samples, I was thinking we go on a hike and find some samples along the trail.
Did he say soul samples? It's meant to be soil, I'm pretty sure. I think he might have slipped up there. We're going to go gather souls. Soil! I meant soil!
That's a great idea, Leon. Let me and my partner come.
Sorry, and you are?
I don't really think it's any of your business.
I don't think it's any of your business, which is why I'm not going to look at you when I talk to you. Again, get some close-ups. Like have some head bobs. Turn the camera around and compile the shots together. Ah!
Oh, so you're a fangirl.
What? No!
Zelda's my sister.
Ah, okay, so when are we going?
You're distracted by these backgrounds of the guy hugging his locker. That's another risk you have with having wide shots be like in every single part, is that someone's eventually going to just trail off. Like, for example, did people know that guaranteed failure is to never try? It says so on that poster on the right. I'm noticing that way more than this conversation.
going to get the soil samples?
Saturday morning, I'll pick you up and we can go to the trail.
Alright, see you then.
And that's all you need. So, yeah. Considering the versions that we saw, it's surprising because I thought I was going to get to this point where I'd say, oh, each one has advantages and disadvantages, but yet no. I'm definitely going to have to side, and go with the original for this one, which is surprising. It's not, but then again, at the same time, that does end up weirdly conveying an important message. The original, as I said before, is still flawed, but it has a lot more mystery to it as to what actually has gone on. It doesn't tell you everything right away. It gives breathing space to just establish Mania herself and then go through the other characters in the future. And despite the breakdown not working, it still actually makes you feel for her. If anything, a lot of those posters and stuff, and everything else we saw in the first one, really give attention to Mania herself as a character and what she's actually like underneath the surface, or maybe what she used to be like before the events in question. And these are things that she's managed to salvage from her past self. Yeah, maybe get a book then. Maybe the house tour drags a bit, but whatever. That's to be expected with the 2018 stuff. Whereas with the remake, we get more exposition, we get shots that don't work, we get timing that is off, we get stalker main characters that end up becoming best friends, and we get a jerky protagonist towards the end who seems to have lashed out for seeming no reason. That's not a build-up. If people can say, well, maybe she's just still affected by the events, and that's why she's on a short fuse. But no, because that would have applied to Lyric when she met her first. Lyric was far more invasive to her than Leon ever was. Physical attraction aside, that doesn't matter. Leon has done absolutely nothing right now to deserve Mania disliking him. It's just for the sake of it being enemies to lovers again, it seems. Despite the fact that the audience that Mania already had by this point knows exactly what to expect in terms of Mania and Leon becoming a thing, and new audiences know what to expect because they've seen a movie in their life, or a TV show, or a thing. So the message here, surprisingly, is that you can, by all means, increase your production value. You can, by all means, try to fix stuff that you think is broken or whatever. You can add voice actors. You can go more cinematic. But ultimately, as I've been saying for a long time, what really matters and what really entices people is the story. And the story here, despite how boring it might have opened up with moving into the house or how tired the premise actually might have been, works way better in its much simpler version. Despite all the stuff that happens later, we have time for all the other details. The world of Mystic Hills is actually really rich with a lot more intrigue about other stuff and other details that people will not have picked up on yet because it's not hinted at in the first episode. But ultimately, if given as the question that I had towards the middle, if I was presented with the remake in my recommended and that it had been out at the time and everything, would I have actually grappled onto the show as much? I don't think so. I don't think I would have done. So anyone out there who is worried about about the standards increasing of all of these of Minecraft roleplays, even gacha roleplays for that matter, and is worried about the fact that it seems that people's editing keeps on advancing over time and all of those things. Clearly, at least in the realms of Minecraft, story still rules. It still reigns supreme, and that's what's important. That's what actually story and character. You got those things down, you're golden. And yeah, the remake of this did decently well, for considering that I think Lady Mania had like 30K at the time of the remake's release, and that video has gone up to 44K views from 2020. The original version, 205,967, and that is an unlisted video, so it hasn't been garnering too many new views except for on the main channel page. And Mania was completely unknown at the time. The algorithm favored her for a reason at that point. So yeah, not to say that there's the other things that Mania has done have not taken advantage of those things. She has a bunch of other shows that are pretty good. She's done adaptations of other things on top of doing improvised role plays and adding more people into the mix from her voice acting team, for better or worse, depending on the hours that one might put into that. But as far as Mystic Hills goes, definitely my recommendation is stick with the original series, at least for now, because as I mentioned before, as the series progressed, Mania became more disillusioned with the behind the scenes of how it went, and there's reasons that it ended up having a massive decline, which I will get to once it starts becoming a thing. But for now, go for the first one. It's an oldie, but it's a goodie. But either way, check out either video. They'll both be in the description, and let's see what you think in isolation. But for now, before you do any of that, please leave a like or dislike because your opinion matters, and subscribe if you've done so already. And on that note, until next time, farewell. Oh, one more thing, sorry. The eyes. I mentioned the eyes at the end of the original. They have hearts in them. That was it. Heart eyes. That was the joke I was going to make before. There's a reason I bring that up, but whatever. Next time. Okay, now for real. Hey, Adam. Yeah? Do you need anything? Yeah, I want a hug. For what? Because you saved Lana. I feel happy again. Yeah, see? That episode that could have had like way better visuals depending on like how things went down. Considering thing, but he still latched onto it. Story reigns supreme. Okay, now for real.